We'll stop the recording for the next people. So please.
Okay, I will stop as soon as I finish. Thank you very much.
And anybody who doesn't want to be in the recording, sorry, you can turn your video off so that you won't be included in that.
Okay. I have a very special relation with my grandfather. He was born in Catamarca, in one of the inner provinces in Argentina. And then he moved to Rosario, which is another very nice city, near from the city where I used to live. So when I was a child, I had the possibility to visit him so frequently, but any time when I was with him, I had the opportunity to share some very special moments. He was a carpenter. He had a carpenter. It was like an artist, more like an artisan. One of the things that we used to do was working for the neighbor nearby his home, and he used to pick anything like tree branch or whatever piece of wood, and he transformed them in very special pieces of art. And I was wonder how he could make those very special little kind of mini sculptures, you would say. And then he gave them as a gift to the rest of the family. And of course, he used to give me some of those little toys made of wood. And I was there watching him working with the woods. And at that time, I like to, even in those young ages, like to write stories, shorter stories. So I was wonder how could he have that, he could have that imagination and stay there asking for him all of these questions. And one day, it seemed like it was very more especially, how could you say, heavy on that amount of question, and he has to finish some work. So he asked me to stop and go to my grandmother and, well, spend some time with the rest of the family there. So in the middle of, I was in the middle of almost crying. So I went with my grandmother, and a little upset, of course. But anyway, I understood. But he surprised me in the morning because he came and he woke me up with a kind of box, wrapped in a gift paper. And I took it. I started to wrap it out, and it was a kind of shoebox. Nothing at the beginning seems nothing special. But anyway, he told me that indeed it was a very special thing, because that was a machine, a making dream machine. So he told me that when I was lack of ideas, if I wanted to spare some very nice time, the only thing I had to do is to put under a kind of light, especially if it were at night, better. And then I will find some very nice ideas, and stories will come to my mind. And but he made me promise that I will never, ever open it. So I wait to late at night and went out of the room, and in a kind of patio of that house. It was a very special old house. Here in Argentina, we call them chorizo house because they are very long, like long houses. And I was there, and in that patio was a light in the middle, I remember that the moon was very, very bright that night. And so the boat has a very little windows colored with a kind of plastic colored, and of course was sealed. So I put under the lights, and then when the lights came through those little windows, sparks all around the patio, and I was there dazzling. And of course, it seems to have something in it. And then when I move it, it seems like there was something alive on it. And of course, a lot of stories came to my mind, like with wars between militaries and princes in danger, and a princess that goes to save her, and of course, it like maybe a kind of circus could be in it. Who knows? And it was a very, very special moment. It was a lot of fun with that dream machine, the making dream machine. Of course, I've been playing, and the first thing I did was to write some stories, a very crazy story. And with the time, and when I grew up, I finally became a writer. Of course, I started to use that toy less and less, and finally kept in some unknown place, but it always was with me. My grandfather went old, and well, when he was almost dying, he was at the hospital. I used to go with him and started to chat a while. And then one of those days, I remember him that making machine dream. At the first, he seems to not remember it, but finally he did it. And of course, he said, "Oh yeah, I remember. And did you open it?" No, of course, I promised I wouldn't do it. So that's what I did. I kept my promise. And did you know what was inside? Oh no, of course I don't. I could imagine, but I don't. Ah, well, it was nothing important, just pieces of plastics and some little stones and nothing important. Then he started to laugh, and I remember his warm laugh. And it wasn't one of the last memories I had from him. Outside, the moon was very bright, the stars were shining, and that night he passed away. It was a hard time. I was a period of time, and I couldn't write anything. But then I remember the machine, the making dream machine, and I started looking at it. I finally found it. I took the box, but I'm sorry, the making dream machine, and I sat down on the bed, and I couldn't resist the temptation to open it. And I was shocked, because suddenly from that little toy, something unusual brought up. Hundreds of clowns and acrobats and dwarf and princes and horses went out and started to run from everywhere and to jump and to spinning on the air. Some of them started to sing, and some others to recitate very, very incredible poems. I was there watching, looking at that spectacle, but the problem was that when I wanted to put them all back inside of the box, some of them didn't want to get inside. So I have to imagine some of those and put it into the box and close it and wrap it and wrapped it again. The other day, I took that special machine and I gifted it to my daughter. She's the artist of the family now. So in a very, very formal ceremony, I give her this dream machine, and I make you promise that she will never, ever open it.